In a world where empires rose and fell like the tides, one man rode out of the steppes, casting a shadow that would darken the pages of history. He was not just a warrior, he was a force of nature. This is the tale of Attila the Hun, the man who held the world in fear. What secrets lie behind the legend of the one called the Scourge of God? Join us as we peel back the layers of myth and discover the true story of one of history's most enigmatic and fearsome leaders. Was he a merciless barbarian, bent on destruction, or a visionary leader ahead of his time? How did a man from the nomadic steppes come to challenge the might of Rome itself? From the battlefields that ran red to the silent corridors of power where his name whispered fear, we uncover the journey of Attila, a journey that shaped an era and forged a legend. Brace yourselves as we step into the world of Attila the Hun, where myth and history collide. But before we get moving, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Our story begins not in grand palaces or famed battlefields, but on the rugged steppes of Central Asia. Here, in a world where survival hinged on strength and cunning, a young boy named Attila was born into the royal lineage of the Huns. It was the dawn of the 5th century, a period teeming with upheaval, where the Hunnic tribes, fierce and nomadic, were rapidly ascending as a formidable power in Europe. Attila's early life, shrouded in the mists of time, was forged in this crucible of constant movement and conflict. Unlike the settled civilizations of Rome and Constantinople, the Huns thrived in the harshness of the steppes. Their lives were a relentless pursuit of survival and dominance, and it was here that Attila learned the art of leadership and war. In 434 AD, destiny catapulted Attila to the forefront of history. Following the death of their uncle Rugila, Attila and his brother Bleda ascended to jointly rule the Huns. This was no peaceful succession but a testament to their ruthless ambition and political acumen. Attila's reign began not with a coronation, but with a pact of brotherhood and power. The world of the Huns was a world in flux, brimming with potential and peril. As co-rulers, Attila and Bleda faced the daunting task of navigating this complex landscape. They inherited not just a kingdom, but a volatile frontier of endless horizons and relentless enemies. From these early challenges, Attila's character as a leader began to take shape. A blend of ferocity, cunning, and a vision that extended far beyond the steppes. As Attila rose to power, so too did the reputation of the Hunnic War Machine. The Huns, a people born and bred in the saddle, revolutionized warfare with their unparalleled horseback skills. Their main weapon? The composite bow, a marvel of engineering that allowed them to strike with deadly precision from a distance. But Attila's military genius wasn't just in his weapons, it was in his tactics. He transformed the Hunnic army into a swift, agile force, capable of striking with ferocious speed. His strategy was simple, yet profound: hit hard, hit fast, and vanish before the enemy could regroup. Picture the scene. Roman legions, disciplined and formidable, arrayed for battle. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Hunnic cavalry would appear, raining arrows down on the stunned soldiers. Before the Romans could form a defensive line, the Huns would disappear, only to strike again from another direction. This hit-and-run tactic, known as the Parthian shot, became Attila's signature move, leaving his enemies disoriented and demoralized. Under Attila's command, the Huns became the embodiment of terror on the battlefield. His ability to use the landscape to his advantage was uncanny. He knew how to use forests, hills, and rivers, not just as shields, but as weapons. His warriors, equipped with light armor, could maneuver quickly across diverse terrains, turning the very ground beneath their feet into an ally. Attila's leadership style was both feared and admired. He led from the front, sharing the hardships and dangers with his men. This fostered fierce loyalty and a warrior ethos that was the backbone of his army. His soldiers were more than just fighters. They were followers of a leader who embodied the spirit of the Hunnic warrior. The legacy of the Hunnic War Machine under Attila's rule is a testament to his strategic brilliance. It wasn't just about strength or numbers. It was about mobility, speed, and the element of surprise. Attila understood that the psychology of warfare was as important as the physical clash of arms. He turned the Hunnic army into a force that was as enigmatic as it was deadly. Attila's rise to power set the stage for a tumultuous relationship with the Roman Empire. This chapter of history is a tale of conflict, diplomacy, and the clash of civilizations. The Huns under Attila weren't just marauders. They were a political force that challenged the very foundation of Roman power. The relationship between Attila and the Romans was complex. While often at odds, there were moments of uneasy alliances and political maneuvering. Attila skillfully used diplomacy as a tool, as much as he wielded his sword in battle. He negotiated with Roman emperors, sometimes as an adversary, other times as an ally of convenience. Attila's incursions into Roman territories were more than just military campaigns. They were strategic masterstrokes that showcased his understanding of the larger political game. He extracted tributes from the Romans, a sign of his influence and the fear he instilled. These tributes were not mere payments, they were symbolic of Rome's struggle to contain the Hunnic threat. The dynamic between Attila and the Romans was akin to a high-stakes chess game. Each move by Attila was calculated to maximize his advantage. Whether it was raiding the Balkans or threatening Constantinople, Attila seemed always to be one step ahead, forcing the Romans to react to his maneuvers. Attila's engagements with Rome were not only about territorial conquests. They were a testament to his strategic acumen and his ability to keep one of the greatest empires of the time on its toes. His legacy in this aspect is as much about his diplomatic cunning as it is about his prowess on the battlefield. Attila's notoriety earned him the title, the Scourge of God, a moniker that resonated with fear and awe across Europe. But what was it about this Hunnic leader that led to such a fearsome reputation? This chapter delves into the blend of myth and reality that surrounded Attila, exploring how his image as a divine agent of punishment was perceived in his time and for centuries to come. The moniker Scourge of God was as much a product of Attila's military successes as it was of the cultural and religious zeitgeist of the era. In a time when divine will was seen as a guiding force of history, Attila's relentless conquests were interpreted by many as a punishment from God. This interpretation was especially prevalent in the Christian West, where Attila's pagan roots added a layer of spiritual dread to his military campaigns. The fear that Attila instilled was not limited to battlefields. His reputation preceded him, spreading like wildfire across the lands. Chronicles of the time depict him with a mixture of respect and terror, a warrior king who was as shrewd in counsel as he was fierce in combat. Yet, beyond the label of the Scourge of God, there was a more complex figure. Attila was not just a destroyer, he was also a builder of alliances, a leader who understood the power of loyalty and the importance of strategic partnerships. This duality made him not only a feared conqueror, but also a respected ruler in the eyes of his subjects. The legacy of Attila as the Scourge of God thus paints a picture of a man who was both a historical figure and a legend. His impact was such that his name became a symbol of divine wrath, a testament to the extraordinary life he led and the indelible mark he left on history. The Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 AD stands as a testament to Attila's military prowess and the formidable opposition he faced. This was not just a battle. It was a clash of civilizations, where the fate of empires hung in the balance. Attila, leading a diverse coalition of warriors, faced off against a Roman-led alliance, including Visigoths and other tribes. This chapter explores the strategic genius and the dramatic moments of this epic confrontation. As the two colossal forces converged on the plains, the air was thick with tension. Attila's strategy was bold and aggressive. He aimed to crush the alliance with a swift and decisive blow. The Roman general Aetius, aware of the Hunnic tactics, prepared his troops for a battle that would require both courage and cunning. The battle began with a fierce cavalry charge led by Attila himself, a terrifying sight to behold. The Huns, renowned for their horseback fighting skills, clashed with the disciplined Roman and Visigothic forces. The plains echoed with the clash of swords, the neighing of horses, and the cries of warriors. As the battle raged, the tide seemed to favor Attila, but the resilience of the Roman-Visigothic alliance began to turn the tables. The Visigothic king, Theodoric, played a crucial role. his troops fighting with a ferocity driven by the desire to protect their lands from the Hunnic onslaught. The Battle of the Catalaunian Plains ended without a clear victor, but its impact was profound. Attila was forced to retreat, a rare setback in his otherwise illustrious campaign. This battle not only demonstrated Attila's tactical acumen, but also showcased the complexities of warfare in an era where alliances were as fragile as they were necessary. The final chapter in Attila's saga is shrouded in as much mystery as his life. His death in 453 AD, just a year after the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains, marked the end of an era. The circumstances surrounding his demise are a blend of fact and folklore, leaving historians to ponder the truth. This chapter explores the various accounts of his death and the rapid disintegration of the Hunnic Empire that followed. The most widely accepted account of Attila's death comes from Priscus, a Roman historian. He suggests Attila died of a nosebleed on his wedding night. However, other sources hint at more sinister causes, perhaps murder at the hands of his new wife, Ildico, or an assassination plot by his enemies. Attila's death, regardless of its cause, had profound implications. It signaled not just the fall of a leader, but the collapse of an empire. Without his unifying presence, the Hunnic Empire quickly fragmented, succumbing to internal strife and external pressures. In the wake of his death, Attila's sons vied for control, but none possessed his formidable leadership qualities. The once feared Hunnic hordes dissolved into the annals of history, leaving behind a legacy of both awe and terror. The death of Attila the Hun remains a fascinating enigma. It serves as a poignant reminder of the transient nature of power and the impermanence of empires. His life was a tapestry of conquest and ambition, and his death, an abrupt end to a legendary journey. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tune in next week as we unravel another fascinating chapter of history. Until then, keep exploring the past.